What's up guys, and welcome to my channel over here. And today I'm gonna talk about the MacBook Pro 13-inch variant. And this is how the video gonna solve your question: which MacBook Pro 13-inch variant is best for you? Is MacBook Pro 13-inch worth it? Storage upgradation and processor upgradation and the RAM upgradation. And stay tuned and watch full video right to the end, then you will get to know is this MacBook Pro 13-inch is best for you or not. So I'm going to talk about the upgradation of RAM, processor and storage. So first thing, in India, I'm going to talk about the price range over here. The first base model of MacBook Pro 13-inch, I'm going to talk about the processor right here. So first, the 1.4 GHz quad-core Core i5 10th generation or 8th generation processor. So should you upgrade? I don't think so, because when you upgrade the 1.7 GHz quad-core processor, it's gonna cost you 30,000 rupees. I don't think so, because the 1.4 GHz is little bit decent processor. It's quite fine, but if you upgrade 1.7 GHz quad-core i7 processor, there is not that much difference over here. Second thing, the RAM. The 8 GB of RAM, the 233 MHz, it's base model RAM. But if you want to configure it, it's up to, you can upgrade it up to 16 GB. So for the base model, the 16 GB cost you 10,000 rupees more, because I think you should upgrade the RAM. Now I'm going to talk about the storage. Storage, the 256 GB SSD is the base model, but if you want to upgrade 512 GB SSD, then it costs you 20,000. If you want to upgrade 1 TB SSD, it costs you 40,000. If you want to upgrade 2 TB SSD, it costs you 80,000 rupees, and that's too much. 80,000 for 2 TB SSD. So in my opinion, for the base model, you shouldn't upgrade the processor, but you should upgrade the RAM and storage. The RAM should be configured up to 16 GB. You should pay 10,000 rupees for the RAM, 16 GB of RAM, and 512 GB of SSD. But 256 GB is also not enough for you if you are into productivity, like the Final Cut Pro X for video editing and any engineering softwares and programming. Then you need a lot of storage, especially. But if you are for the programming, I don't think so. But if you want to develop some big applications, yeah, you need to. So because of that, the 512 GB SSD is perfect. But if you are editing some video, and because of that Final Cut Pro X, or if you are using Adobe Premiere Pro, then you need to upgrade 1 TB SSD, which is gonna cost you 40,000 more. It's up to you. But this is what I recommend: upgrade the RAM and upgrade this SSD in storage. And why I'm telling you about the RAM upgradation, because RAM is the thing in which if you want to use the many applications like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, Adobe or Final Cut Pro X, or if you want to use many applications at once. So because of that, in that productivity, the RAM is play important role at that time, and also the storage. So because of the SSD, it's much more powerful, but RAM will help you to manage the application. It will help you to put, if you want to open the many application at that time at the same simultaneously, then you can open. And if you have the 16 GB of RAM, is best for you. So next, another model, the high-end model of 13-inch MacBook Pro. So this is come with a 2 GHz quad-core processor, 10th generation Intel Core i5, but it's configurable up to 2.3 GHz quad-core processor i7. And if you want to configure i7, if you want to upgrade the i7 processor from that, it cost up to 20,000 rupees. So I told you, 2.3 GHz quad-core processor Intel Core i7, if you want to upgrade it, cost you 20,000 rupees. Second thing, the RAM. Now I'm told you earlier that RAM play important role for many. If you want to use many application at simultaneously, that is much more important than any processor. So 16 GB of RAM, and they have 3733 MHz RAM. which is the onboard memory. You can upgrade up to 32 GB of RAM. It's have 3733 MHz. It's great, but it's gonna cost you 40,000 more for 32 GB of RAM. Now about the main thing, the storage. The storage is 512 GB. It's a base for the higher end model. So if you want to upgrade to 1 TB, 20,000 rupees, 2 TB, 60,000 rupees, 4 TB, 1,20,000 rupees for the 4 TB SSD. It's useless, I think. 4 TB, it's too much. You can buy, there are another option for you. You can buy a external SSD, and I'm gonna make a new video upon the external SSD for the Mac and for the PC also. So wait for it. So in my opinion, for this higher end model 13-inch MacBook Pro, you should upgrade up to 32 GB of RAM, but it's gonna cost you 2,14,900. So if you upgrade the 1 TB SSD, it's cost you 2,34,900 rupees. 2 TB SSD, 2,74,900 rupees. So let me tell you, it's good. It's up to you. So first of all, what I'm gonna talk about is, should you upgrade your RAM, should you upgrade your processor, or should you upgrade your storage? The first thing I already told you, don't upgrade the processor in the base model. It's useless. It's not much, so it's not gonna show you that much difference. It's little bit difference over here. So because of that, I don't think so it's possible. And if you want, at that price you could buy a MacBook Air. So I don't think so it's best for you. Stick to the base model processor. For the base model, it's have 1.4 GHz. It's quite fine, but I think you shouldn't buy the base model of that 13-inch. I will prefer you to go for 2 GHz quad-core processor. It's one of the best processor, I think, and it's also have the 2 fans inside it. So because of that, the cooling system will be fine. So in my opinion, you should upgrade whatever I told you. For base model, only upgrade RAM and SSD. Another model is for another high-end model, only upgrade the RAM and storage. If you want to upgrade the processor, it costs you too much, 20,000, but I don't think so it's show you that much difference. And here very many questions. I wish it will solve your question. And subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment. Stay tuned and stay happy.